Hello everyone. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be walking us through how we can create AWS EC2 instance. We're going to be creating two EC2 instances. The first EC2 instance will be a Windows server so that I will show us how we can use RODP to access that Windows server. And the second one will be a Linux server so that it can show us how we can use SSH to access that Windows server. So I'm here at the AWS screen. I'll put in my credentials and I will click on sign in. And when I click on sign in, it's going to ask me for my MFA code. From the previous class, we saw how we did this. So now I'm going to supply my MFA code. So now I've entered my MFA code and I've signed in. From what I explained earlier, if you click on this menu, you will be able to see the categories of the resource you want to create. Amazon has so much categorized the resources that you can see each of the category of the resource here. Now the resource we are going to be creating fall under the category of compute because we are creating an EC2 instance. EC2 instance actually stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. So I'm going to be clicking on this compute and you can see the various type of compute that Amazon have from being able to have app runner to the EC2 to Elastic Beanstalk to Lambda function to Lightsail. They have a lot of compute resource that you can use to do your computation and to run your workload for that has computation. So for now, I'm just going to click on EC2 instance and it will bring us to the EC2 instance dashboard. It will bring us to this EC2 instance dashboard. This dashboard changes frequently. So you are seeing like this, but with time it can change. This is their new interface. But what you are always looking for that will never change is the menu. Here you can see instance. Instance is what they call their own machine. You can see instance. You click on instance, and when you click on instance, you can see launch instance. If you have launched some EC2 instance before and they are running, you will see them all listed there. But now there is no EC2 instance on this account, and I want to launch a new EC2 instance. So what I do is to come and click on launch instance. Now I'm going to be giving the instance my instance name. The first instance we're going to be creating is a Windows Server instance. So I can come and just say my Windows instance. And now that I've specified my Windows instance, I'll come here and pick the window image that I need. That's the operating system that I need. I want Windows, so I'm going to click on Windows. And when I click on Windows, it's going to show me all the AMI they have. AMI just simply means Amazon machine image that they have. I'm going to choose one that fall under the paid tier, saying that will not cost us much. So I'll just go with this AMI. But if I want to take a different one, I can just drop down and you see the ones that are all the one that will be free tier. For now, just go with this Microsoft Server 2025 based is under the free tier. So I will go with this. I will click on it. After that, I will select my instance type. Instance types actually gives you the opportunity to be able to, when you are creating your resource, to be able to specify what memory and what computing power, processing power do you want that computer to be able to do. So for now, you can see here there is this default instance of T3 micro. T3 micro actually has 1 GB of RAM and two vCPU computing and processing. So I can drop down and I can choose from here. Now you can create a resource as large and as big as you want, but be careful, the larger the resource you create, the bigger the cost of that resource. So for example, if I come here and I click on this particular instance, which is CD5 12S large, let me quickly come here and I will show you one thing. AWS calculator. So when I open an AWS calculator, I want to show you how you can actually calculate the cost of a resource before you create that resource. So I'll come in AWS calculator and Sorry about that. Let me go back. Yes. So AWS calculator is the one I need. So I'll click on it. Create an estimate. Like you are creating an estimate of what the cost will be. Yeah, you can choose your region you want to create that. For my region, I can just choose the region I want, which is EUS2, which is in London. Then find my resource. Which resource do I want? I actually want EC2, and you can see it's here. So I'll click on configure. Now, when I click on configure, it's going to, yeah, when I click on configure, which operating system do I want? I want it to be on the shared instance, meaning I want to share, right? Which operating system do I want? I said I want Windows Server. So let me do Windows Server standard. Let's do this. Then, which instance type do I want? Like from the one I want to show you as an explanation here, this one of 96 gigabytes and 48 vCPU. This is C5D 12S large. So if I come here, C5D 12S large. So you can see the computing I have here. This is memory is 96 gigabytes, vCPU is 48 core. Then the storage, I've not even selected storage because I can actually increase my storage and I want it to be on demand. So if I come down and say, oh, what is the monthly cost for this for on demand? And I select on demand and I say, oh, what is the cost for this? I'll just click on, I'm not even adding any other thing. I've not even added the video storage and all. But if I come and do save and view summary, if I do that, you will see that just for that, just one single instance in a year, it will cost me around $93,000 or almost $94,000. And in a month, it's costing me close to $8,000. So that is when you have to be careful with the resource you are choosing, especially for learning and practice level. You don't really need this much resource. What you just need is a very little resource to be able to practice what you want to do and to be able to shut down that resource. At that times you need this bigger VM. Yes, when you are running big workloads, like you are running some machine learning models, you might need that. But yes, you still have to be careful to put your cost um under under control. So I've just chosen this one. It is enough for me for this demo. This is just 1 gig RAM. And for some of us who just have a new AWS account, this should also fall under the AWS free tier. What it means is that you will not even be paying for this machine, even if you spend it up. So the next one is the key pair. What is key pair? Key pair is, yes, I'm creating this system. How do I have credentials to log in? What credentials do I need to log into this machine? So although I have a key pair, but I will be working into creating a key pair. It's very simple. What you just have to do is to click on create new key pair, right? Then you type in the name of your key pair. It can be anything. I'm going to say my window key pair, right? My window KP for key pair, and that is all I need. For the older model of Windows, if you are seeing your Windows is still Windows 10, that's your operating system on your laptop is still Windows 10. You can actually, not Windows 10, I think less than Windows 10, you can actually choose this so that you can just put in. Well, I know from Windows 10, you can actually make use of SSH. So I'm going to be leaving it on this. Then I'll click on create key. Now I've created my key pair and it has automatically downloaded onto my system. Then the next step I will do is to scroll down and go to networking. We'll be covering networking on the next course. So I will not really focus more on networking. By if I come here by default, if I don't specify a VPC, which is virtual private cloud, my resource will fall to the default VPC. You can see this is the default VPC, but I will be showing you later how to create VPC, how to create subnet, how to create public VPC and public subnet and private subnet. But for now, as this is our first one, we'll just leave it at the default VPC. Okay, so I will leave it here. I won't really do anything here on subnetting. I'll just leave it. It's going to choose a preferred subnetting and a public IP. Yes, I want it to have a public IP address person. Also, that auto assign public IP is set to enable. So the next one is security group. Security group are firewall that you use to protect your resource. It is that firewall that you use to set who is allowed in and who is not allowed in that resource. So you can choose an existing security group if you have an existing. I'm just going to leave it at like, oh, for this instance I'm creating, I want you to create a new security group for me. What should be the name of the security group? This is the default launch wizard too, but I'm just going to come and say my window, so my window dev security group, SG for security group, and that is all I need. There are other settings that we might need or that will be needed, but for now I just do. Another thing I want to do is that on that security group, because it's a window machine, I want to be able to RDP into that window machine. That's I want to be able to do remote desktop connection to that machine, to connect to that machine remotely. Because it's a Windows machine, I use RDP. For RDP, the default port is 3389. So I will be enabling this RDP. Now, where should I access it from? I should be able to access it from my IP address. So my IP should be able to access this port by default. I'll also be showing us after we have even created the instance how we can allow more IP. Or by default, this is my IP. This is what I want to be allowed. Okay, so that I name. Then the other one is the storage. What storage do I need for this machine? Depend on what you want to do, you can determine the storage you want. If you want a higher storage or you want a lower storage, that is what this place means. So I'm just going to leave it at my default storage, it is 13 gig. Okay, yes, that is it. There are other advanced settings, but for the purpose of this introductory course, we'll leave the advanced settings for now. I just want you to just quickly get a hands of being able to create an instance. As we go on, we start seeing the advanced settings. What are these other settings? How do they enhance our experience with using the instance or the VM that we create? Okay, so I will leave it here, and the next thing you see is a launch instance. It will give you a summary of what you have done. So far, what's my summary? I'm actually launching Microsoft Windows Server 2025. Yes. What is the instant type? The instant type is the under T3 micro. Yeah. What firewall? I'm creating a new security group. And what storage is just 30 gigabytes of storage. At this point, I'm going to come and click on launch instance. When I click on launch instance, it's going to show me that my instance is creating it's creating my instance and take me to this page. There are a lot of things you can do after launching your instance. You want to create a billing, whatever it is you want to do. You want to connect to your instance, you want to connect to everything and do all that. At this point, I can say I want to connect to my instance, or I will just come in and just click on the instance to come back to the beginning we started, this interface that we started. I'm just going to do this is refresh. I'm going to refresh it. And when I refresh, you can see my window instance is created. The state is running, although it is not ready because it is at the initializing stage. So at this point, we've just created our window virtual machine. You can see this virtual machine has a public IP. It means that I can connect to this machine through this public IP address. So the next step of the tutorial is how can we really connect to this machine, and that is what I will continue from that now. So let's just wait for the machine. It's still initializing. I'll just wait for it. When it shows ready, then we will connect into this machine. So now our instance is ready. When we refresh it, how do I know it's ready? There's this status check. This is actually when you know it is ready. It's status check, and it's going to tell you that it is ready. As status check pass, status check is passed. So we can see our instance is running and it is ready. Another thing I want to quickly show you is If you did not enable RDP when you were creating the machine, you still have the opportunity to do that. You click on the machine you just created, then you come down here under security, you click on security, and you can just scroll down, right? Let me just make yes. Mm. So this is the security group, my Windows security group that I have created. You can actually click on this security group, and there's what called inbound rule. Inbound rule is what are you allowing to have access to this machine. You can see in my own case, I have an inbound rule from my own IP, meaning I can access this port, which is the RDP port, from my own IP. You can decide to add another inbound. For example, if I want anybody or I have someone else who I want to give access to this machine, all I just have to do is to ask them of their IP address. And what do? I click on edit inbound rule, and when I do that, I will add rule. What I want to enable them to have access to what port. For now, I'm having access to RDP, meaning I can RDP input. But it's possible I just want them to have access to port 80 of this machine. So that one, the access will be different, right? Or I want them to just have SMTP to be able to upload some things to the machine. Depending on what access they want, this is where I can pay them badly. Or let's assume I want them to also be able to RDP into this machine. What I just have to do, just to go to RDP, click on RDP, it will select this port for them. And if you ask them which IP, if I click on 0.0.0.0, it means that I want anybody from the internet. This 0.0.0.0 covers all range of IP. If I do this, immediately I get a warning. The same rules with this warning, meaning allows all IP address to access your instance. We recommend setting the security group rules to allow access from known IP. So if I do this, meaning I'm allowing everybody, which is wrong. This is a very, very wrong practice. When you see something like this 0.0.0.0, meaning you are allowing internet, anybody from internet that have access to that have internet will be able to access this solution. So this is a very wrong practice. So I'm not going to remove it. I'm going to implement this. We don't need this rule. I have this rule already, but I just want to show you. So I'm going to cancel out of this place and I'll go back to my instance. Now I'll come back to my instance. The instance is running. I'll click on my instance, check on my instance, make sure it's checked. You can have numerous instances, that's why you have to check the one you want. The next stage, being that this is a Windows machine, the next stage is we want to get the password for this machine. What password can we use to log into this machine? It's an existing machine, it has an operating system. What password can we use to get into this machine? I will click on the machine I want, then come to actions, click on drop down, come to security. From security, there's what we call get window password. I'm going to click on get window password. When I click on get window password, there's one thing I will do. It will ask me to upload my private key. That private key, that key page I created earlier, I'll click on this page and it will give me opportunity to upload. So now I have uploaded that key. Just click on upload. It will take you to your computer where you have your download in your computer. When you click on that key page download, it will open up the primary and private key of that particular key page download. That's what you do. Then you click on decrypt. When you click on decrypt, it will give you your credentials. What are the credentials it's giving to you? Look at it. It's giving you your instance ID, which is the Windows machine created. It's giving you the private IP address. It's giving you that your username is administrator, and this is the password to access this. So I'm just going to copy out the password and I'm going to have it saved somewhere. The username is administrator. This is the password. What is important to me is the password. By default, I think Windows users are administrator. So I'm going to copy this password and I'm going to save it somewhere. I'll just click on this to copy the password and I'm going to save it somewhere. So now that I've saved the password, I'll just come here again for easy access. I'll click on connect. And when I click on connect, I'll come to RDP clients. And when I click on that, I'll just come and do download remote desktop file. Download remote. You can choose to download or not download. Another will just for you to go to your Windows machine and open RDP and pass in the credentials that you need. But I choose to download, so I have just downloaded it now. So I'll come to my download and click on this file that I just downloaded. It's going to open up my remote desktop for me. Okay, so now I have this. This is my remote desktop. It's asking me, oh, I don't know this. Should I allow? I'm just going to click on connect. So when I connect, it's going to ask me, oh, the username is administrator. What is my password? And I'm going to pass in my password. So I have passed in my password, and you can see it's trying to load. And now I have a brand new Windows machine. You can see this is my brand new Windows machine that I've just created. One thing about Windows Server is that they have interfaces so you can interact with them. You can click on this, you can click on that. Unlike the Ubuntu servers or the Linux servers, that most of them don't have interface. So you can see I have a brand new machine, just like the normal Windows you use, but this is a Windows server. I can host my application on this server. I can come to File Explorer just the way you have File Explorer. I can open File Explorer, right? So this is the machine we just prepared. You can see I can open File Explorer, music, pictures. I can come to my C drive. Remember the size of my disk was 30 gig. That's this is 30 gig, right? So this is 30 gig. It's actually small because I just want it for the demo purpose. But you can see what else can I do? I can from here browse the internet. I can click on the web browser and I can browse. I can download things on this server. I can install things on this server. Depending on what I want. I can do a lot of things on this server. So this is our Windows instant machine. You can see you can do a lot of things. I'm just trying to open up the internet browser. It's because the machine is just waiting for the first time. So it's and of course the memory I chose just 1 gigabyte of memory for cost purpose and just for demonstration purpose. So you can see it will come up and I have the opportunity to set my age for browser. I just start browsing without data and I can actually access anything. I can download. No, I don't want to sign in, continue without signing into this confirm and start browsing. So you can see I can actually start browsing with this instance I just created. So the purpose is you needed a machine, you set it up, you do what you want to do with it, and oh, you can see this is beautiful. So AWS is even bringing up schools and all of that. Thank you for agreeing to provide feedback on this. So this is actually our machine. I can go and say, no, I want to open Google. So I can come here to my google.com. So just play around with the machine. But there's a lot of things you can do with Windows Instant. It's not just what we are doing now. You will not set up a Windows Instant just to come and start Googling when you can do that on your own local machine. But for example, in this machine, I can actually install, since it's a window, I can install IIS, it's a Windows server. I can install that IIS if I want to install applications, engineers, if I have an application to deploy, I can actually deploy an application on this server and people from all over the world be able to access the application from this server. It's not running on my machine, so I'm not scared of power going off or whatever. This is trusted and it can stay. Okay, so that is that. If you have any issue creating a Windows server and logging in, just let me know, or you can just your drop your comments and I'll sure to attend to them. So the next thing we are going to do, we want to shut down this server. We've seen it, you can play with it, but I want to shut down this server and then quickly spin up the Linux server and also show you how you can log into a Linux server after spinning it up. Okay, so at this point, how do I exit this screen? It's simple. I can just come and close. Once you see this blue bar, this is your remote desktop connection. I can just come there. Right? Your remote session will be disconnected. Fine, I want to disconnect it. I close it, and I'm back to my AWS console. From here, how do I terminate this machine? I'll make sure the machine is checked when I click on this machine. Then come to instance states. From instance states, you can see reboot. Maybe I want to reboot the machine, or in this case, I want to terminate the machine. I'll just come and do terminate instance. Are you sure you want to terminate instance? Yes, I'll just come and like, I want to terminate this instance. Also, it will tell you on an EBS instance, default action, the EBS will be deleted. It means that even the disk will be deleted. That's the default action. There's a way you can remove the disks and delete only the machine. That's remove like we are removing the hard disks and deleting the machine because most of the things you save are on the hard disks. But this one we didn't save anything on it, so we don't need to detach it. We can just it is safe to delete everything. Remember, if you are keeping disks, you should also have an amount that you pay for those disks that we keep. So I'm just going to click on terminate and I will terminate this machine right away. Okay, while this machine is terminating, we can quickly create another instance. So I can come here and launch, just anywhere you see launch instance, you can create instance. Or I will still come here and yes, I can come here, just click on launch instance, but just know that anywhere you see launch instance, you can launch the instance. I'll come here, launch instance. In this case, we are going to be setting up another server, but this is a Windows Linux server, and we are going to be logging into that Linux server. So in this case, it's my Linux server, right? So I have my Windows server. Now, what would I choose? I'm not going to choose Windows anymore, of course. It's going to be Windows. It can be Amazon, Linux, but I want Ubuntu. I use Ubuntu in just for my day-to-day activities. So I want the Ubuntu server. I'll click on the Ubuntu server. I'll also make sure that the image is within the plate here for the purpose of this course, right? And now, also, what is my instance type? I want to choose T2 Micro. T2 Micro Pro is one CPU and 1 GB of RAM, just like the previous machine we created. Key pair, yes, I need the key pair. Now I can choose to select the other key pair, but no, I want to create a key pair. That key pair will still work. If I did the other key pair, it will still work. But I just want, for the purpose of this demo, I want to create a new key pair. And this one I can call it my Linux key pair, right? Good. Then that's just it. I'll come here and I'll click on create key pair. So now that I've created the key pair, like I said about networking, I'm still going to be leaving it in the default VPC. By tomorrow, we'll be learning about VPC and how to create your VPC so you understand VPC better. I want you to create a security group, a new security group. What should I call the name of the security group? So I don't want an existing security group. We can use the other security group we used before for the down. But let's assume this is the new one. So I want to create a new security group. Now I want to allow SSH. Remember, I told you for Windows servers, the way you can log into the machine of Windows server is to use RDP. For Linux server, the way you can have access to Linux server is to use SSH. So I'm going to allow SSH. But now it's asking, where do I want this SSH from? From everywhere? No, I don't want from everywhere. I want it just from my IP address. It means only my IP address that is able to access this this machine. Okay, so I can also enable other ports. If I click on HTTPS, that's meaning I'm enabling port 440. And if I click on enable HTTP and I'm enabling port 80, you understand what these ports are later, especially when we start deploying our applications to the server. You understand, oh, so this is what it means when I type in HTTPS. So this is the port I'm hitting on their server. You only just to type HTTPS google.com and say, oh, it's secure. So you understand each of those ports and what you need for security. So for now, we'll leave it like this. Now, unlike Windows machine, this one does not really require higher disk for the operating system. The window, we saw that we chose 30 gig, and even when we open and saw the remaining size, Windows practically took close to 20 gig. That's the Windows operating system. Linux is not as heavy as Windows. So you can see the default is 8 gig. I can still increase this one to 30 gig, right? If I need it, I can make it 20 gig, but there's a minimum to what you can do. So I'm just going to leave it as 20 gig. You can vary it, but be careful how you vary it also for cost purpose. Okay, and I can add as many volume as I want. Like I can add many disks as I want. Let me put it that way. So that is it. You come here again on this right hand side. You can see what are you creating. Oh, I'm creating a software this is it. It's an Ubuntu software. This is the instance type is T2 Micro. And the calculator I showed you earlier, I will tell you how much this T2 Micro costs just for me to understand. So I will go back. This estimate is too high for me. But if I come here and like, okay, oh, let me change these things. I want it to be of course, I'm using a Linux server now. So this is what I want. Or let me just put it go to. Oh, I'm using an Ubuntu instance now. Oh, what size am I using now? For now, just a T2 micro, and I'll click on it. It just want the T2 micro, and it's an on demand. So I click on demand. Now, if I come and do save and view summary, it oh, sorry, it's like I added it previous one. Let me go back and run this previous one. But even if I don't run the previous one, you can see monthly cost for the previous one was almost 8,000. Monthly cost for a T2 micro, monthly cost for a T2 micro is just 10 or $11 per year. So you can see the difference in the price, right? If you want to remove the previous one, you can just go. I didn't remove the previous one, but you can just go and remove the previous estimate because it's like I added estimate to the an estimate. So you can actually remove the previous one we have before when you are doing your estimate, but you can just start afresh. So that's just the difference in price. Now that we have this, I'm going to take on launch instance. So as before, we are still going to wait for it for that instance to be ready once it's launched. So if I come here, click on my instances, I'll be able to see, I'll refresh this. Now you can see I have my window instance, but what state it is in terminated state, meaning I have destroyed it. But you can see my Linux instance, it is running, but it's not yet ready yet. So we are just going to wait for it to get ready, then we are going to log into this machine. Okay, now, so when you refresh, you should see it has passed the page check. So this instance is now running. Then the next thing is we are going to be connecting to this instance. Remember, this is terminated. This is our Linux. How do we connect to Linux? There are different ways you can connect to this Linux instance. I will be showing you that. Remember what I told you about security group? You can come here if you have not enabled what it needs you to connect. You can come to the security group, click on the security group, and you can see what can I do. Like you can see the SSH port is port 22, and this is my source IP. It means that I can actually SSH into this machine. If I cannot, all I just have to do is to edit the inbound room and be able to SSH into this machine. So now I'll come back here with my instance that I want to connect to. My instance is running, so I'll come back here. You can see the other terminated one is totally cleaned up, it's gone up now. So I'll click on this particular one and I'll click on connect. Now, like I said, there are different ways you can connect to this machine. But there is a way you can even connect without using your terminal at all, which is a very, I love the connection. It's actually called EC2 Instant Connect. And therefore means that you are not logging, you are not connecting from your machine. You can connect from there and do what you want to do. So let's quickly do that. By default, Ubuntu user's name is Ubuntu, so that's the default username. If I do that, I can just come here and click on connect. And when I click on connect, guess what happens? I will just be connected to this machine and I'll be inside this machine. Remember, I showed you Windows Server. Windows Server has UI whereby you can click here and there. But Ubuntu Server does not really have a UI. Okay, it said error establishing SSH connection. Let's try again with that. Okay, let's do this piece where we are having error with that. Okay, the reason why we are having error, which I will quickly share with you, is that the only person that can access this machine is my computer IP. Now, when I do that instant connect and I click on connect and I do instant connect, this I'm actually still using a machine to connect, but this is not my machine. So this machine I'm using to do instant connect does not have access to this EC2 instance. What I can do temporarily for you to understand what I'm saying, I'll come back to instance. Remember, how do you give permission for someone to access your machine? You come to security. Now, when I come to security, I'll click on the security group and I will edit inbound rule. That's what I'm going to do. Rather than saying this one should be off, I can just add another rule the same SSH. But in this case, because I don't know the IP address of what AWS is giving me to connect with, I can just use I can just say, okay, no, I want custom. Let me take for anywhere. It is wrong, it's shouting, so that's why you don't use this one because of it is wrong. But I'll come and save rule. Now that I've saved this rule, if I come back again to the instance, to the EC2 instance, click on it and click on connect as before. This same thing, once I click on connect, you're just able to connect to this machine without failure. Because now the machine accepts IP address from anywhere, right? And now it's connected. So as it is now, I've logged into this machine, I've logged into the server, I can do anything I want. I can list what is on this part. Oh, I don't have anything on this part. I can download on this machine, I can update this machine. How do I update this machine? This is the Ubuntu Linux, so I can just put apps update. Or it has to be a sudo, meaning I have to be an admin. I use it as admin. I just say sudo app update, and you can see I'm updating this machine as it stands now. I can upgrade this machine to upgrade the software packages in it. I can start installing things on this machine and actually start seeing the things I'm using. Now, this is pure terminal. When you are using a Windows machine, it's 100% terminal. You don't really have the UI and the flexibility that you used to click on a Windows server. So this is pure terminal. That's just what I want to contribute to. Okay. So this is one way of connecting a to your Linux machine. Very easy and straightforward. I'm connected to this machine. I can, like I said, I can install things on this machine. I can install engineers. I can install a lot of things, and I can actually deploy my application on this machine. The only thing between a Linux machine and a Windows machine is that a Windows server has UI that you can click, so you see, like we are saying. But for a Linux server, it does not have UI. Everything is command. Everything is terminal. So you have to learn to work with terminal. And actually, on a day-to-day activity as a cloud engineer, you really don't use. So most organizations don't use Windows Server. The server they use is Windows Server. So this is the server you spend most of your time in working with and working as in deploying things in. So it's not hard to actually learn the Linux command, just the normal way. It has its own command. It has a lot of documentation online on what you want to do. If you want to install, what is the command for installing? What do you want to install? A step-by-step guide is coming there for you. Okay, another way you can also connect. So I'll just show you one way to connect. Another way you can also connect, I'll come here and click on connect, right? You can use one called session manager, but this is actually the right way. I mean, this is the easiest way people use to connect, whereby you connect from your own window terminal. This is how you connect. And what do? You see, this is actually what you do. Because when I was creating this key pair, the name of my when I was creating this machine, the name of my key pair was this my key pair. So I can just copy this. What is the command? SSH/I my key pair, meaning if anywhere I'm running this, it has to be where I can access my key pair from. Then I'm going to pass in this and I'm able to connect to it. So the next thing I will do is to bring up my terminal from your window or whatever. Just type in terminal. So I will bring up my terminal. This is my terminal. Then I will make sure that I am in the part where the keypad is. So in my own case, my keypad is in my download. So I can just CD into my download. So I will CD into my downloads. I know that my keypad is there. Then the next thing, these are copy. I'm just going to paste it here. You can see SSH, my key pair, and this. When I go in, I'll just say yes. That's to say yes to my fingerprint. And you can see right now I am actually in that machine, just the way I was able to connect on the Amazon console. I am actually in this machine. I can list anything on this machine. I can update the machine. I've updated the machine because there is no need. So this is actually how you can see this is the machine. This is not my machine. And anything I do here, anything I install here, it's actually installing on that EC2 instance. It's not, this is not, so I'm connected to this machine now. And this is how I interact with this machine. As you see this machine, I can deploy things and enable reports, and you'll be able to see them. So we'll do this later in the crash course. But I just want to tell you this one is just for us to set up a Windows server, a Linux server, and to see the different ways you can actually connect to the server. Okay, I hope this really helped you a lot. The next thing, immediately we are going to be cleaning up. I will close this. How do we clean up? We don't need the instance running. The more instance is running, it's going to be charging us. So the next thing, what we do is to delete this instance. So I'll come here, click on the instance I want to do, and delete, come here again, instance state, and click on terminate. So yes, I'm terminating the system. And when I terminate the system, it means I won't have access to the system again. So I hope you got a lot from this and you'll be able to do your assignment with this video. If you have any issue, either drop it on the group or just comment below. I'll be able to answer. Thank you very much.